How's it going, everybody? Rupon Sansei here. And today I got to see the Sonic movie. This is going to be my spoiler-free review, and later down the line I'll probably do a spoiler review too. Maybe when the movie comes out on Blu-ray so I can, get footage and then do a super well-edited video or something. Also, if you hear some weird staticky sounds in the background, that's the rain. It's raining, unfortunately, today. But when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. So when life gives me the Sonic movie, I have to make the review as soon as possible. Anyways, I'd like to quickly start to talk about Sonic himself, the character of Sonic. I'd just like to say, not a faithful adaptation at all. This isn't necessarily a bad thing, it's just, he's not a character you would be familiar with if you're a longtime fan of Sonic. He's a very flawed character, he's a very childish character, he's not established as a hero or anything, all he really wants to do is have a lot of fun. Basically, this is just a Sonic the Hedgehog origin story. And even though his character is a little different, they still did a lot of weird things with his powers. As you can see in the trailers, Sonic has electricity generating in him, which he can't do in the video games. So straight up, he's a different character and he's got different abilities in general. The only thing that's the same about him is his design and his main ability, which is speed. But other than that, he's kind of different. Well, not kind of, completely different. And the same thing goes with Dr. Robotnik / Eggman. I'm just going to call him Eggman because that's a little easier. But Eggman in general is a lot more unhinged in this movie. He's crazy. And even though he still has his high IQ from the games, he's insane. Which I actually think is a pretty nice change, because Eggman in the video games really has no reason to take over the world. In this movie, they actually give him a reason, a motivation, I guess. It's a little more subtle though, it's not right in your face. And when I say it's subtle, I don't mean that it's a little harder to grasp. It's very obvious, it's just they don't tell you with an obvious flashback or anything. It's how Eggman acts and how he brags and, the stuff he talks about, which shows you that he wants to take over the world. Like, he never straight up says he wants to take over the world. Like in this one scene, he's talking to someone and he says, "I'm not gonna miss you when you're gone." And he's already said things about robots replacing humans. And I guess he's kind of this character who's trying to be like, he's trying to communicate he's going to take over the world. He wants to tell people he's going to take over the world, but he's kind of using his position in the government to quietly do it. And he never really outright states that to anyone, so I really like that part of his character. Also, the story is very straightforward, simple, it's easy to predict, and I feel like a lot of the marketing also gave away a lot of the movie's cards, because I feel like I've seen every set piece, every scene in this movie, every action scene. I've seen all of it already. Nothing really felt new and fresh, like, oh my god, I can't believe they did this, because I've seen it in the trailer. I know it happens. I know about this scene on a dark street. I know about them going to Paris. I think the most surprising scene in the movie for me was the bar scene where Sonic's wearing the cowboy hat and all that. That had a pretty surprising scene for me. I did kind of know what happened in the scene before the movie came out because I read the leaks, but of course the leaks didn't mention everything, and there were a few surprises in that scene, and that was nice. Of course, the trailers didn't reveal everything. A lot of the emotional stuff going on with Sonic isn't shown too much in the trailers, and during the beginning of the movie, it tells you, his origins about why he had to leave his planet, because he was being chased by people who wanted his powers. And there are a few more important details to that scene that actually add to the movie that weren't spoiled in the trailers, and I think it's pretty exciting going in first time blind. Now I'd like to talk about the visual effects of the movie. I'd say they're kind of inconsistent. Sometimes Sonic looks really good, really well composited and rendered, and other times he kind of looks really fake. I don't know why this is the case. Maybe they were short on time, maybe it was a lower budget, or maybe it was the redesign. And there are also some moments where Sonic isn't animated too well, but I think most of it is pretty good and isn't too distracting. There are just, a few moments where it's a little awkward. And there are a few moments in the writing and story too that are just a little awkward as well. I can't really go into them without spoiling the movie, but they're awkward. Just you just have to take my word for it. This movie is also really weird because I've seen a lot of people say this movie is really for the fans and the fans would really enjoy it, but I don't know. I haven't really resonated too much with the fan part. People say there were a lot of references to the older Sonic stuff, and there really weren't. I didn't notice anything. You know, of course there are the stuff in the trailers that I saw, but other than that, I didn't really notice too many references. And this movie is packed full of just pop culture references. In the trailers you've already seen, they've referenced The Rock, they've referenced Vin Diesel and the Fast and the Furious movies. I guess there are a couple of Sonic memes in there as well, one of which we've already seen in the trailers.
Gotta go fast.
And they also kind of rip off the Quicksilver scenes from the X-Men movies where everything stops moving and then there's pop music in the background. I don't know why they did that. It's not a Sonic thing at all. Sonic is a character that moves fast, and his games definitely emphasize the fact that you need to have fast reflexes, so slowing everything down so that Sonic has to put in less effort into dodging things, I guess kind of, again, makes this not as good as an adaptation as I would wish this to be. Normally in Sonic games, you would have to dodge missiles, but in this, he doesn't need to dodge them because they just freeze in time. Again, it's good for what it is, I guess. Sonic with these powers is fun to watch, but it's not Sonic. But for what it is, it's definitely a good movie. I would give it a solid 70%. And I would definitely recommend anyone who likes Sonic to watch this movie. It's a bad adaptation, so I don't think there's too much to, fanboy or fangirl about this movie, but it's still good for what it is, for what it tries to do. And I feel sorry for anyone whose introduction to Sonic is this movie, because they'll see this one thing, and then they'll play the games, and then there'll be a completely different other thing. Also, mid-credit scene. There was one mid-credit scene in this movie. I actually got the mid-credit scene spoiled because some people are really disrespectful and like to post spoilers without censoring them. But I only saw a screenshot and a bit of footage, and so I wasn't really sure how this mid-credit scene would be playing out, and it was done really well. And what's even better is that you don't have to wait through like boring scrolling text. There are actually fancy credits to watch through before the mid-credit scene, so it's worth an extra 1 or 2 minutes in the cinema. But yeah, anyways, if you did like this video, please give it a like. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe. And if you want to interact with me directly, you can join my Discord or follow my Twitter. But like at the end of every video, I'll be seeing you guys in the next video.